Respect your parents today, before one day it becomes too late. There was a man named Abid. He was successful. Good job, beautiful wife, nice house, 2 children. From the outside, his life looked perfect, but inside that same house lived his old father, a weak old man, with shaking hands, slow steps, and silent eyes. His father had once worked day and night, just to give Abid a better life. When Abid was a child, his father stayed hungry, so his son could eat. When Abid was sick, his father stayed awake all night. When Abid wanted to study, his father sold his only gold ring to pay the fees. He gave everything. And now, when he needed only love, time, and respect, Abid had none to give. Every morning, the old father would sit alone near the window, holding a cup of tea with trembling hands. He waited for one thing only: for his son to sit beside him. For just 5 minutes. But Abid was always busy. Later, barber. I have work. Not now. I'm tired. Those words became knives in the old man's heart. At dinner, everyone sat together, but the father often ate alone in his room. Sometimes he dropped food on his clothes because his hands were weak. Sometimes he repeated the same story again and again, because old age had made his memory slow. And every time, Abid got irritated. Barber, how many times will you say the same thing? Why are you always making a mess? Please. I don't have patience for this. The old father would go quiet. Not because he had no answer, but because he didn't want to become a burden to the son he once carried in his arms. One rainy evening, the old father slowly walked to Abid's room. His voice was weak. He said, "Son, can you sit with me tonight? I feel a little strange, and I don't want to be alone." Abid didn't even look up from his phone. He replied, "Barber, please, not tonight. I'm really busy." The old man stood there for a few seconds, as if he wanted to say something more. But then he just smiled sadly and walked away. That was the last time he asked for his son's time. The next morning, Abid's little daughter came running and said, "Purpur, Dardar isn't waking up." Abid laughed at first. He thought his father was sleeping. But when he entered the room, his heart stopped. His father was lying still on the bed. Cold hands, closed eyes, silent forever. And beside him was an old small box. Abid's hands shook as he opened it. Inside were things he had forgotten long ago. A tiny baby shoe, his first school photo, a broken toy car, his childhood drawings, and on top of them all, a folded letter. With tears in his eyes, Abid opened it. The letter said, "My dear son Abid, if you are reading this, it means I have left this world. Don't cry too much for me. I lived enough. I only had one wish: to spend a little more time with you. I know you are busy. I know life is hard. But I want you to remember one thing. When you were small, I was never too busy for you. I held your hand when you were afraid. I fed you when you were hungry. I stayed awake when you were sick. And even when you grew up and forgot me little by little, I still prayed for you every night. You were always my greatest joy. Take care of your children. Love your mother. And if one day you become old, I pray your children never treat you the way you treated me. Your loving father. Asterisk asterisk. Abid fell to the floor crying. Not normal crying. The kind of crying that comes when your soul realizes it has committed a sin that can never be undone. He hugged his father's clothes. He kissed his hands. He begged for one more chance. Just one more conversation. One more cup of tea together. One more "How are you, Barber?" One more hug. But life doesn't always give second chances. Sometimes you realize the value of a person only after their room becomes empty.
If you like video, please subscribe and like for more interesting healthy tips and exercise who make you perfect.